Hey there everyone, and welcome back to Utility Sports. In today's video, we're going to be discussing our top 10 quarterbacks heading into the 2021-2022 NFL season. And if you guys are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button because we're going to be talking about a lot of NFL football here over the next 6 to 7 months or so. We're swinging into the NFL season, Austin. How excited are you for it?
I'm ready to go. Let's get into these top 10 quarterbacks. Starting off at number 10 is a guy that's going to be very controversial on this list. It is Kirk Cousins. This is a guy who led a top 5 offense. He has a lot of weapons around him, except for that tight end spot. But Sheldon, you're a believer in Kirk Cousins. Why is that?
I am. I think Kirk Cousins has been madly underrated throughout his entire career. Now, I know I'm wearing a Washington football team shirt right now. I'm not actually a Washington football team fan, so I do not have any Kirk Cousins bias here in this discussion. I just think Kirk Cousins goes out and does his best and tries to win. He hasn't really had a lot of talent around him before landing in Minnesota. You look at Jamison Crowder was really his top option when he was in Washington and still found a lot of statistical success there and led Washington to a lot of 7-8 win seasons with not a great defense, without great wide receivers. And in Minnesota, he's been money leading that offense. I believe they ranked top 5 last year. And you look at a quarterback who consistently throws for north of 30 touchdowns, less than 15 picks every single season, over 4,000 yards a year, and he completes passes like none other, usually top 2 or 3 in the league when it comes to completion percentage. So he's just going to be very, very consistent delivering the football on time, on target. Now, he does have some issues. He does not feel pressure from behind him a little bit, is susceptible to fumbling when getting sacked. That's why he's 10th on this list. He's not higher than 10. But we are believers in Kirk Cousins a little bit. I think that he's a guy who has been underrated. I think his contract situation's kind of led to some hate around Kirk Cousins. You know, maybe he's overpaid a little bit, but at the end of the day, he's still a top 10 quarterback in my eyes. Austin, moving to 9, we have Justin Herbert here, who had a phenomenal rookie season. I don't think a lot of people were expecting him to perform the way he did. What's your breakdown on Justin Herbert?
Yeah, Justin Herbert's definitely a quarterback that had a little bit of concern coming in. There was not a lot of believers in his game. Was not an accurate quarterback in college, but at the NFL level, he definitely showed some great progression, especially on his deep ball. This is a guy that was a top-tier deep ball thrower. He had some issues, but overall, I mean, for a rookie quarterback, he had one of the best rookie seasons ever. Broke the touchdown record for a rookie quarterback. He has a couple of weapons there in LA, but I think overall, Justin Herbert really surprised people. Now, I think some people might even have him higher, some might have him lower. There's a lot of people that aren't really on the same page with him. I think this is a good happy medium with Justin Herbert. He's not in that elite quarterback area yet. Maybe he can progress to that. We also might see some regression from him this season. Overall, he really exceeded expectations. Justin Herbert is the 9th best quarterback.
Yeah, really keep prove it year here for Justin Herbert. And you mentioned not a lot of people were big believers in Justin Herbert. I'm sure Tom Telesco's really glad that he was a big-time believer in Justin Herbert, grabbing him last year in the NFL draft. Moving into 8, we have Dak Prescott here, who missed most of last year with that ankle injury. He has rehabbed. He came back with that massive new contract there with the Dallas Cowboys, Austin. He's an exciting player. He was lighting it up before that ankle injury last year. What does Dak Prescott bring to Dallas?
Yeah, let's not forget he was the passing yard leader as he got hurt last season. Also, the year prior, 2019, was a huge coming out party for Dak Prescott. He threw for 4,900 yards, 30 touchdowns, 11 picks, completed 65% of his passes. Dak Prescott was really, really impressive. And hopefully this offense can be that same way, that same dynamic. They really, really missed Dak Prescott last year, and I think they really value him as their starting quarterback. But this is a guy that has been underrated for a lot of his career despite playing in Dallas. Some people don't like him. This is another quarterback that's, kind of up and down on people's lists. However, Dak Prescott has shown that he can be a top 10 quarterback. Hopefully when he's healthy, he can still remain at that level.
Right, I definitely agree with you there. And there's a key thing here to talk about. 8 through 10, there's a little bit of fluidity there. You're looking at guys who are very, very close when you're comparing them. And up and down years can kind of shake up that 8 through 10 spot a little bit. Moving in here to 7, we have Deshaun Watson, and he's another guy who's going to have a very interesting season based off of what's around him there in Houston and also some of the legal matters surrounding him. We're not going to get too far into those legal matters, but there is a chance that he doesn't even play this season, which does definitely pull him off this list. He would not be a top 10 quarterback if he doesn't play next year, simply because he didn't play. But there's also real risk there in Houston. He has Brandon Cooks as his number 1 wide receiver. Kiki Couty is also there. So you're looking at not a great supporting cast around Deshaun Watson. The Houston Texans probably going to be one of the worst teams in the league. And it's been clear that Deshaun Watson doesn't even want to be there in Houston anymore. Austin, do we see a Deshaun Watson trade this year? And what do you think about Deshaun in general?
I just don't see a Deshaun Watson deal getting done unless we have the legal matters figured out first. But let's talk about Deshaun Watson, the talent. This is a quarterback that is a top-tier premier guy in this league. However, he could have been 6th. He could have been 5 possibly. I don't think he's up at that 5 level. However, 6, 7 is kind of his range. The problem is we don't know who's going to be, the starting quarterback for the Texans next year. Likely, Deshaun Watson might have to sit out. Once again, those legal matters really play into effect. But the talent of Deshaun Watson, the ability to scramble, to evade the rush, he can throw the deep ball, he can throw to short and intermediate. There's a lot to like about his game. He's a franchise quarterback. However, we don't know how it's going to really play out these next couple of months to really determine these rankings.
Yeah, let us know in the comment section where you think Deshaun Watson will end up, and if you think he will get traded. I'd love to hear from you guys. Your thoughts on Deshaun Watson and his situation with the Houston Texans. Transitioning into 6, we have Lamar Jackson, a player who has gotten a lot of hate in recent years, Austin, especially come playoff time. I think you and I are both big-time believers in Lamar Jackson still. As a quarterback, his dynamism he brings. Why is Lamar Jackson 6th on our list?
Lamar Jackson is improving as a passer, and now Baltimore is a little more committed to getting him some weapons to throw to. He has Mark Andrews currently, but let's not forget that Willie Snead was kind of his go-to guy. They go out and draft Rashad Bateman, a big-time playmaker. They also got Tylan Wallace. So they did a really nice job in the draft going and getting those guys. Now he's going to have legit wide receivers to throw to in this season, but he's the most dynamic running quarterback that this league has ever seen. I know a lot of people love Michael Vick, but I think he's number 2. Lamar Jackson is that kind of guy, can consistently rush for 1,000 yards in a season. He's the most dynamic playmaker at the quarterback position in terms of running the ball. There's a lot to love about his game. People really, playoff success is what has held him back, just considering how great their rosters have been and him not winning those games. But I do think he is the 6th best quarterback in the league. Super dynamic playmaker and a guy that can make a lot happen with his legs.
Let's not forget that he is the identity of that Ravens offense, and he's been a key part of what they do. The reason that they're so good at running the football is how dynamic and how much of a threat Lamar Jackson is at keeping the football when they run those read options, some of those RPO plays as well. Lamar Jackson is such a big-time threat, and he's really growing as a passer, like you mentioned. Jumping into 5, we have a guy who's really, really growing as a passer throughout his career, and that's Josh Allen for the Buffalo Bills. After just inking a massive extension, Austin, 4 years, a lot of money there for Josh Allen. Why is he 5th on our list? And talk about his progression path in the NFL so far.
Yeah, he's always had the big-time arm. That has never been the question about Josh Allen. The question was, at college and his first 2 years in the NFL, can he accurately throw the football? The answer to that is clearly yes now. He completed 69% of his passes last season. His rookie year, 52%. His sophomore campaign, 58%. So he's made huge strides. And a big reason for that jump was really addressing that wide receiver position. Stephon Diggs had a career year with Josh Allen. They really actually broke out together. Another guy that really helped his growth was Cole Beasley, a guy that you can safely dump it to in the short to intermediate, and a guy that has consistent hands. So overall, that's why Josh Allen really progressed the way he did. Brian Daboll did a wonderful job playing to his strengths. Josh Allen, big-time arm. Also a guy that makes a lot of things happen with his legs, really underrated runner. So I think that's the reason he is number 5.
Yeah, Bills management deserves an A+ for their effort around Josh Allen, also grabbing Josh Allen when they did. You're looking at just a phenomenal job there, surrounding him with guys who are going to help him. Cole Beasley, a consistent underneath threat, someone who's going to get open off the line of scrimmage. Stephon Diggs, the big-time playmaker, the guy who has a chance to be the number 1 wide receiver in the NFL at some point down the road here. He's that good. Josh Allen has elite targets, and he continues to improve as a passer himself. The Bills are looking up, and Josh Allen's a key reason why. Jumping into 4, we have Russell Wilson, who's been kind of that model of stability there for Seattle in recent years. Deep ball is phenomenal, able to move with his feet. Austin, break down why Russell Wilson comes in just above Josh Allen. I know this was one of the closest ones on our board.
Yeah, this is really, really close because Russell Wilson has been able to do this consistently for a long time. Josh Allen had 1 season of it. That's really the only reason to bump him above Josh Allen. We know consistently Russell Wilson will be on the field. He's healthy. He's available. He's a guy that can throw the deep ball as well. Really dynamic with his legs in terms of evading pressure. Not a huge rushing quarterback, but there's a difference between a scrambler and a guy that's just a good improviser in the pocket. So Russell Wilson brings that great leadership, and a guy that's been super consistent in his career. He's never won an MVP, but he has deserved some consideration throughout the course of his career. A lot of people even thought going into last year he was the second best quarterback in the league. 4 is not a terrible ranking for him. I think this is right where he deserves to be.
Right, you're looking at a guy who's finished top 3 in the MVP. He's got a lot of good things that you have to love. Being top 4 at the quarterback position in the NFL is not a bad place to be at all. Russell Wilson, phenomenal quarterback here, lands at 4 on our list. Now we move into the top 3 here, and we've got Tom Brady for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And this might cause some controversy here, Austin. I know a lot of people were out on Tom Brady in his final season in New England. That was never you and me. We've been stark believers in Tom Brady. He just won ring number 7 there in Tampa Bay, and he's about to be in pursuit of number 8 with the Buccaneers all coming back. Why is Tom Brady 3? Talk about his deep ball and also the elements off the field that he brings.
Yeah, just like you talked about on the field, he is a deep ball thrower, consistent deep ball, a guy that you can trust making that big time throw. We saw plenty of those kind of plays in the playoffs. Time and time again, he was hitting that deep ball with consistency. Now, what he really brings is the off the field and just the culture, because we saw with New England, they kind of collapsed once he left. Tom Brady brought that same consistency. He brought leadership to that Tampa Bay organization, a team that was really struggling to kind of get over the hump, and now they were able to do it. He showed this season why he is a number 3 quarterback in the league. Right. It's very possible you can make the argument at number 2, but Aaron Rodgers just had that great of a season that he had to be at that spot.
Right. Tom Brady here completed 66% of his passes last year for 4,600 yards, threw 40 touchdowns, the second most in his career. It's not just the intangibles, the IQ. He's a perfect blend of a leader, of a guy who you want under center, but his statistics have backed it up as well. He's been so phenomenal since landing in Tampa Bay, and he's learning the playbook on the fly last year with some of the COVID restrictions, limitations. You know, he had a lot to learn, and he went in, got it done, and won a Super Bowl, and I think that he's going to possibly be even better this next year with some of that continuity and familiarity there in Tampa Bay. Jumping into 2, you alluded to it, Aaron Rodgers here, the MVP of the league, Austin. Why is he not 1, and why does he stick at 2 above the rest here?
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers had a terrific season. A lot of people thought, he was slowly starting to regress in his career, but he had an absolute breakout campaign. Really was frustrated by the whole Jordan Love situation. I actually think that did motivate him to, play his best brand of football. And there's a lot of controversy if he was going to be a Green Bay Packer or not. But getting to Aaron Rodgers, the player, another guy who's great at improvising and outside of the pocket, arguably the best in the league at, throwing on the run consistently. But he's got a great deep ball. He's got great pocket presence and a guy that is just a smart player in general. He knows when not to take a sack, but he can throw to every level of the field. Really, really smart and obviously in between the ears, but he is just a phenomenal talent, and he proved that he is the second best quarterback in the league.
Yeah, talking about motivation, like you brought up, Aaron Rodgers now in the final year of his deal after that reworking with the Green Bay Packers. He'll be due for free agency, kind of like what we saw with Tom Brady with the New England Patriots. That's going to be a pretty strong motivating factor for him. When you mix elite arm talent with motivation for the quarterback spot, you get a lot of beautiful football. And I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be delivering one more time for the Green Bay Packers. They're a team to watch for the Super Bowl again this season, just with the talent that they have on that roster. Now moving into our number 1 spot, I don't think this is a surprise to many. Patrick Mahomes here, Kansas City Chief quarterback, inked that $500 million deal last offseason. Austin, how big is Patrick Mahomes for football? Is he the new face of the league, and how long will we see him reign in the AFC?
It's crazy because despite Tom Brady just winning a Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes is actually the true face of the league. That's crazy. That's really crazy considering head-to-head that Tom Brady has beat Patrick Mahomes plenty of times. But the thing about Patrick Mahomes is he is such a dynamic talent, and you can never, ever count his team out. If we remember that playoff comeback against the Texans just 2 years ago, absolutely incredible. Patrick Mahomes, despite having some injuries during that Super Bowl, really played through that. He was just impressive as a whole, that whole last season. Now, he's going to be the number 1 quarterback for the next 15 years, very likely, just with how great he is, how consistent he is. He's a guy that's also a very good athlete at the same time. Once again, not a scrambler, more of an improviser. However, that carries a ton of value in this league. Can throw the ball deep very, very well. Also a guy that just is so dynamic in what he does. And the crazy part of it is he even admitted himself, mentally he has not been to where he needs to be the first couple of years in the league. And now he's starting to catch up, with his raw ability, plus his mental toughness and awareness. Just a terrific blend of smarts and overall talent.
Right. Such a wonderful player. We talked about the improv ability that he has under center, and now you're looking at a much better offensive line there in Kansas City. He's going to have more time to throw the football. Some of those deep breaking routes are going to be really, really dangerous there again in Kansas City. I think it's going to be must-watch TV every time Patrick Mahomes is on the television. He's going to be very, very phenomenal again this season. I think hands down the best quarterback in the NFL. Let us know where you disagree with us. We'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. I would think Matthew Stafford's an honorable mention on this list as well. So Rams fans, if you're looking for Matthew Stafford, he's just right up here, probably ranked him 11th. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. This is going to be a series we start doing the top 10 positions of top 10 players at every single position in the NFL. So if you guys did enjoy this one, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. So we'll keep this series going for you. Thanks again so much, and we'll catch you in the very next video.